we all listen to music sometime during the day, and if not, we at least hear it, because, I mean, we listen to it in our cars, we hear it in stores we walk into, we even hear it in cars driving by us on the road. And, like, all MP3s and CDs claim to be high quality or high def, but they really aren't. And I'm going to tell you how digital music really isn't the best, and also how we can have better music for ourselves. And then I'm going to tell you why you should buy vinyl records. Okay, first I'm going to tell you here how digital music is recorded. And as you see here, music is vibrations in the air, which we make, and everything makes vibrations in the air, which goes to the microphone like you see here. And there's a little diaphragm in the microphone that vibrates and sends electronic pulses. And a digital recorder actually splits it up into small packets. As you see down here, you see like the wave of music, and there's actually small little blocks, which the CD is actually little blocks of music. And it records small little packets like a couple thousand times a second. And there's tiny little gaps in between each packet. And things that have really quick noises actually distort on digital because it's in between the packets, so it's distorted. And then when you play back the music, it plays the packets so quickly that you can't hear the gaps. But there's a little bit of warmth and depth missing out of the music that some people can detect with high quality, musical equipment. And then I got all this information on howstuffworks.com, and it explained both the digital and the analog. And analog is recorded linearly, which is basically there's one groove on the record. It starts all the way out here at the edge and it goes all the way towards the middle, and it's one groove and there's no gaps at all. And as you see, the vibration goes to the microphone, and the microphone picks it up, and then it sends it linearly exactly the way it picked it up to the carving needle, which then vibrates in the groove, making the music. So when the needle actually plays back over it, it has little bumps and everything that when the carving needle cut the track, and it vibrates the same way, which sends it to the speakers the same way it does from the microphone to the record. And I actually had a record cut this way from the London vinyl carvers, and I also use them as one of my sources because they had a lot of information on all this. And basically they make one record for you, and they take like an MP3 file, and they use old equipment, and they carve one record of the song you want, like LPs or 45s, and it's just the same as an old record would be. And as you see here, vinyl records are still made. They've been made, they've actually never stopped being produced, but in the last couple of years the production is actually increased. And in 2010, the Beatles' Abbey Road record right here was remastered and reprinted, which was in February of 2010, which was just a few months ago. So if you had an old Abbey Road that you wanted to replace because it was worn out, you could actually go to Best Buy and buy it. They have for sale right with it. They do the CDs. And it's actually, these, I have an example here of Kings of Leon that was released in 2008. And the price of the CD is about $10, and the price of the record is $20, which, vinyl records are usually, 15 to $25, which a lot of times they're real similar to the price of the CDs. And this is at Amazon, but I got this record at Best Buy, and it was $18. And so basically the CD price and the vinyl price really aren't that much different. So if you wanted to get a record, it isn't that much pricier. And there's actually new vinyl equipment made, so you don't have to have an old record player to play music. They're very easy to get. Like, you can get them at Best Buy. They have a couple of record players. You can get them on eBay and Amazon, and different specialty music stores have better record players. Where they even make jukeboxes now. Like this is from World War I and World War II, and they just started making them again in the late '90s. And they play 45s and CDs, and they have this is like a audiophile quality cartridge, which is picks up really good sound. And you can also still get stuff from the 70s and 80s, and the equipment was very good then, and it still is today if it was well maintained. Like this is a Audio Technica record player that was from you know, late 70s or early 80s, and you know, it was a couple $100s then, and you can get them for $150 or under, depending on their quality, and they still work great. And you know, like there's, you know, also other examples like you have over here with like this is from the 1940s and it plays 45s. You could put like a stack of 6 to 10 on there, and it'll, you know, play. And at that time, I found on the peopleshistory.com that a car was $700 to $800 in the early 1940s, and this record player here was about $400. So it was really, like, it wasn't that far away from a price of a car. So basically, record players then were basically for upper class, you know, because no one really would buy a record player because, you know, music wasn't as popular as now where we hear it all the time. It was basically a luxury for parties and things like that. And vinyl is, you know, easy to get, and especially for DJs, because DJs prefer to use vinyl because they can manipulate the disc by spinning it forward or backward, and you know, scratching and other things, you know. And a lot of actually dance beats and things, like people who produce dance beats, are actually only printing on vinyl because that's what the DJs want, and they want to be able to make it available for the DJs who want it. And that's actually spurring a lot of record companies like Capitol. They've actually started up their old vinyl pressing company, and a couple others. And you can get them at stores like Best Buy. Like at Best Buy, I was just there, you know, over the weekend, and there's the CDs, and right above them in the top rack, there's, you know, records. And they don't have a lot yet, but over the last year, they've, you know, more than doubled their selection. Like I'd say they maybe have 20 to 25 records available now. And Amazon, they have thousands available, and they're new. They're not used, and they're not old. They're brand new. And I hope that if you guys have a record player or at one time liked records, I hope that you will try to buy one, or, you know, dig out your old records and give them a listen, because the quality is really better than digital because it is naturally how we hear. And a lot of people think that, you know, records can wear out and break, and it's actually much harder to break them than, you know, than they really, you know, people say. Like this record, I have an example here, was made in 2008, and as you see, it's very flexible. And you know, like if they get dusty, you can just like wipe them off with, you know, a damp cloth, and they clean up fine. And basically, like you hear pops and cracks, it's just like dust in the grooves. And I have a record here. This is from 1974. It's a Queen 45, and like you can still see it's still shiny. There's some surface scratches, but you really can't hear that. It's just on top of the grooves, and the music is actually in the groove, so you can touch it and bend it, and they're still fine. Like it's, you know, they're very durable. They're not easy to break. And so, you know, I told you how digital music isn't the best format, and you know how we can all have vinyl by, I mean, getting record players at garage sales, and you know, wouldn't be very expensive. And also, you know, vinyl is the best format as of now until something else comes out. So I hope that we all can, you know, try to listen to a song on vinyl because it really is a very good format. Thank you.